Welcome to the Law Dad Podcast, brought to you by Pritchard Injury Firm. I'm Zach Pritchard, lawyer, husband, and very tired father.
Dive into the heart of law and life with The Law Dad, Zach Pritchard, your guide through the world of injury law in North Georgia and Tennessee, where law, life, and leadership meet.
Today, guys, I am joined by Neil Hopper, husband, dad, radio personality, pastor, and all-around great guy. So, Neil, thanks for making some time for us and
Thank you.
Coming here to share some thoughts today.
Good to see you, man. I appreciate the opportunity. Yeah, how good is this? This is cool.
It's great, and
it's
it's so good because just the first couple words, it's like butter coming out of your. You've always had the best. We're going to talk about your radio voice, but no, I appreciate the love, man. I appreciate you checking out our stuff.
Hey, this is awesome, and I just appreciate you guys inviting me to come over. Yeah, been doing radio for 35 or so years, so been doing this a long time. But man, hey, it's good. God is good. We're doing good things. Radio's been a blessing to me. After 35 years, I don't know how much longer I'll do it, but it's probably like most careers, gets in your blood and you don't want to quit.
Yeah.
It just is what it is.
If I saw the stat correctly, 1989, is that when it was started?
Yeah, the station started in 83. I started in 89.
You started in 89.
Yeah, they started working on it. The local 91.7, they started working on it. The Tootin family, who actually started it, they started working on it in 79 and finally signed on in 83. And then I rolled around in like 89.
And so it's always been Emmanuel Broadcasting? Or?
Yeah. Well, we rebranded a few years back, but the corporate name is still Emmanuel Broadcasting.
Gotcha.
That's still our corporate. All the stations, the translators, they all come under the heading of Emmanuel Broadcasting. But for the regular listener, they're going to hear the message for you. Right.
Yeah.
We rebrand. So
which I love. Message
gotta make
for
it
you
new
is great.
Again.
Yeah. That is so cool. So let's start there with, first of all, how did you get into, I want to go into radio and then Christian radio?
I wanted to do something ministry based, but I did not want to be a preacher. I didn't. I am, but
I was about to say that didn't work out.
but I didn't want to be a preacher, and I thought, man, I was going to skirt the issue. I'm going to be able to do something I like. I'm going to be able. It's ministry oriented. It's music that I was already listening to, and I thought this will be good. I knew the Tootin family from church, and they were put a announcement on that said, if you want to come put in an application, hey, we're open for applications now. I went down and they said, we're going to give you a shot. And I didn't know what I was doing, never been to broadcast school or any such thing. I just thought, I think I can do this. And it was a good way for me to skirt the whole, I'm still doing ministry.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm not the youth pastor and I'm not the pastor, but it's Christian, it's Christian radio.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I got to share my faith. So I was glad about that. And that didn't work out in the end, by the way.
Right, yeah,
but,
you ended up being a pastor.
And man, was always a music fan, a secular music back in the day.
Sure.
I liked all kinds of music.
Oh, yeah.
I still do. Christian music has never been better than it is right now.
The
artists are
now.
awesome.
Yeah,
it's great now. Yeah. It was, through the years, I always loved it, but, the kind of the concept in the world was it was a little cheesy.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, the artists now, people like Crowder and Danny Goki and Lauren Daigle, people know those names.
Yeah, Phil Wickham.
Phil Wickham and those guys, they know those names. You don't even have to be a church-going person to know who that.
That's what's getting really cool is that like mainstream media is picking up on that stuff. I mean, obviously there's big Lauren Daigle push, and people really gave her a lot of credit just for her vocals and things like that. And then, you of course have the message in there.
Right.
You have the undertone and I mean other stuff. I mean some kind of stuff you don't think about, but like bands like POD and Skillet and some of those other ones that have crossed over even to like, I mean Skillet you wouldn't know until you start listening,
right?
And then you're like, wait, this lyrics I understand what you're talking about. Okay, I got you.
That's like their Jeremy Camp's kind of brand new and out.
Yeah,
it's rocking. I mean, it's rocking, dude. It's like, it's not Sunday morning choir music. So if you've never, and there's a whole bunch of people that they know hymns and Sunday morning church music, and they know maybe Southern gospel, but you've never really opened up and started listening to some of the contemporary artists or some of the contemporary worship, it's as good as it's ever been.
Yeah.
It's as good as it's ever been.
I love it. So I told Alexis, you'll find this kind of funny. I'm kind of with you. So I love music in its entirety. There is everything. And so kind of one of my, I'll go ahead. I'm always vulnerable on these podcasts. So look, I like house music too. And I'm going to tell you, the other day, this was a little while ago, I discovered Christian techno. And I told Alexis, I said, hey, when I get where I'm going, that's the first thing that's going to be playing when I get up in there. I'm going to be jamming to some house music, Yeah. It's the Christian house music.
Yeah, it's
Breath is awesome.
Yeah, the music is awesome, and what's happened is so many of those artists started maybe doing their own thing, and then they had a faith experience, came to faith in Christ, and started doing something. Taking what they knew. You take a guy like Forrest Frank right now.
Oh,
huge.
yeah, Forrest Frank, killing it.
Yeah, he's killing it.
And with the kids, too.
They're loving it.
Man.
And so you look and you see his social media and you see he's in an auditorium that looks like it's got 20,000 people in it, and they're all on their feet like 100% in.
Yeah.
And so, those artists they were already artists. They were already doing music. They loved music like a lot of us. And they just decided, hey, now I'm gonna talk about my faith, and it's cool. It's a good thing. It's a good alternative for a lot of people. I still like all kinds of music. Everything I can talk to you about everything from country to Broadway.
Sure.
When I tell everybody when I was growing up, I can remember. I went to see everybody. I've seen Journey. Bryan Adams. I've seen REO. I've seen.
Oh, REO's
yes, oh my gosh, yes. So, but I've also seen Hank Williams Jr.
Oh yeah.
I've seen the Gap Band, Zap, Soul Sonic Force, Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. I've seen Run DMC. I could go on and on. I've seen them. I saw Prince. I saw Michael Jackson twice. So I like all kinds of music.
Yeah, of course.
So I like, I've just found a home right there. I actually really love to worship. One of the things I like to do at church if I'm going to preach, I may get up and sing a song before I preach, just because I enjoy the worship part of the service. I express myself that way, and I love it. So music's always been a huge part.
I love that, man.
Always been a huge part.
Yeah, that's. I think it is a big deal. I think that's a lot of times, and Pastor Kyle, where we're at, CFPC, he talks about that, and you can see him on the front row. He is wearing it out, you know, and he talks about that. He actually gave a sermon about, hey, the Bible said just make a joyful noise. He didn't even say like a beautiful song or anything. Just make a noise that's joyful.
Yes.
He's like, so don't worry about. I loved it too because he just kind of called everybody out. You're worried about like, well, I can't sing real well, and I got people on the side they can sing well, and I can't tell you, dude, let it eat. Let it have it.
Go, man. Yeah,
I love it.
Just throw back your head and sing.
That's right.
That's what you do when you're riding down the road by yourself. So why not do it at church, right?
That's
so
right.
There you go. But yeah, it's Christian music's great. I think just church life, just serving the Lord has just become so much a part of who I am. I don't really know my identity much out of just a faith life, and I like a lot of things that anybody would like. I love college football.
Oh yeah.
I love to travel. So there's a lot of things like that, but just being who I am and obviously not perfect, but man, I love the Lord. He's done so much in my life. He's brought me so far. I tell our people all the time, I say, you can't get where I am by yourself. Really, I mean, seriously, the old timers in Kingston, where I grew up, used to say that before GPS and phones and all that, they said people would come through Kingston and stop with the old guys sitting outside the gas station and say, how can you get to Rome and how can you get to Adairsville? And he said, they would always say, man, I don't know. We don't know how to get there. You probably have to go somewhere and start over to get there. Well, I had to go somewhere and start over, man. Yeah. So God did some pretty cool stuff in my life and opened up some really beautiful doors. And, it's been a run, man. It's been up and down, but it's been
Sure.
It's been if you really want to have a faith life and you're going to serve the Lord, man, it is not the good stuff where you dig down deep and go after Him with your whole heart. It's not for the weak.
No, I'm sure.
It's
Oh,
not
my
for the
gosh,
weak,
no.
man. If you're going to go in there and do it, and so yeah, it's good.
That's awesome, man. And that's, I love, kind of turn to the the radio station. I mean, it's really cool because you guys are reaching, I don't know what your numbers are, but it seems like you're reaching a bigger audience every single week. And it's exciting. My kids love it. We're texting the line on the Friday Music Matrix. So we're which one we like the most and all this other stuff. So that also helps, honestly, because in the chaos of the morning, I've got one child who couldn't wait to get to school. I got another one who you have to, kind of drag, kicking and screaming. But when she gets in the car, so I take Paige to school. For this semester, we swap, so we have some time. AC is in middle school now, and that's tough. So she's walking with her buddy to school, which is fine. It's all good from time to time. So that is shortening. But when I've got Paige, of course, all the way because she can't do that yet. But it sets the tone, man. I'll be honest with you. It's just a no-brainer. Just go ahead. 91.7. We know it's going to be good stuff. It's going to be a good message. It's gonna start the peaceful day out, but also get you kind of eased into it, get you in a good mindset, give you the peace, right? So it just works, man. I love it.
Yeah, and you know what? Like everything in life isn't positive, but what's wrong with sharing a positive message of faith? Like in Scripture, like in biblically, we believe that God works all things together for the good. Not all things are good.
Yeah.
But if He's working all things together for the good, why not come on with some positivity in the morning?
Oh, yeah.
Why not come on with some encouragement? Because life hits hard, and it comes hard and fast sometime. And when you tell people, look, you're going to make it. You're going to be okay. God's got you. And you just remind them of that truth, that He's never going to leave you or forsake you, even in the hard times. I mean, it's a positive message. Yeah, you could just go, yeah, it's just one more positive guy. But I'm not positive just out of my own positivity. I'm positive because I have a loving Heavenly Father that really is, He's doing good things for me. He's working all things together for my good.
Sure.
And when you know that, man, it makes all the difference in the world, especially when you think that there are people who don't have a lot of support.
Yeah.
They don't have, formal or informal, they don't
Yeah.
have a lot of support system. So, we try to do our best to be upbeat and, share positive and messages.
And real. That's the other thing about it. And I'll just be straight. A lot of times, it's funny, before we hopped, kind of on here, and you were talking about that. We were talking about Christian music as well, and you had said, for a little while there, Christian music was kind of cheesy, right? Or there's some stuff had been criticized for being cheesy or whatever. And I think it was JL who said it one time. I don't remember anybody ever saying that in my life till she said it on air with you guys one time, and I just clapped in my car. I said, "Oh, thank goodness," because you feel like a bad person going, "Man, this is cheesy."
Yeah.
Now, but it wasn't. It's obviously it's kind of come out of that, and like you said, it's kind of broadened its wings, and that's what I would say. If anybody hasn't listened to you before, they should, and you're going to find real people who are just truly excited just to share the faith and share a message of positivity, of hope, and of love, and all those good things. And it's just like I said, it's very real. It's not this kind of like frou-frou stuff. This up in the clouds and this I'm supposed to act this way. It's just real people just wanting to love one another and share God's love, and that's great. That's what I think is the best thing about the radio show.
And look, it's not just the guy on the radio. It's your pastor and your youth pastor. Look, they're real people. They have real problems. It doesn't matter if you're the lawyer. It doesn't matter. You can be saved to the bone, and everybody has things that they have to overcome.
Absolutely.
Everybody has struggles. Everybody, just because you get saved, your life doesn't overnight become perfect. Obviously, what do you need faith for if it's not for the hard times? In other words, I'll say it my way. If your faith isn't good for the hard times, it's probably not really good faith. It has to be good in both.
True.
Like when all hell breaks loose, when there is struggle and whatever, your faith has to be solid, and it has to be rooted and grounded. It does. And people just don't realize, I think, the need for a community. One of the things that we've been on a lot lately is loneliness is an epidemic in our country. I don't know if you know that. That's a fact. That's not something I'm making up. You look at the numbers, look at some of the articles. A friend of mine just wrote a book about it last year, and he was talking about how I forget, maybe it was the past Surgeon General said that loneliness in our nation right now affects our health worse than cigarette smoking. Yeah, loneliness is killing people. Connection at your local, connection with your local Christian radio station, but connection with your family of faith, small or large, formal or informal.
Yeah.
You know, Bible study at work, I wish you'd go to find a Bible-believing church and go there. Yeah. But if you have something that you can connect with, that people love you and care about you for who you are, makes a difference, because you got people all over America today, all over Cartersville, all over Woodstock, wherever you are. There's people that are in nursing homes and people who are in the houses next to you that don't connect with their neighbors the way we did 30, 40 years ago. They come and go, they raise the garage door, they go in, they close the door behind them and go in, and they don't know anybody in their own neighborhood.
Yeah.
And so we're lonely with our phones.
Yeah.
We're connected,
you're
but
so
disconnected.
Right.
We're connected but disconnected. So
it used to be the days, like, you know, when I was growing up, where you would get on your bike and you'd ride around the neighborhood to see who was out.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're going to find somebody.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You're going to find one of your buddies, you know, doing something. And then we got to figure it out from there.
Right.
Right? That's what it was. Like, where are you going? It's like, you know, to go hang out with one of my buddies. I don't
just
know who it's going to be yet, but it's going to be one of them.
Right. We just go to the neighborhood and have fun.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter if we end up playing backyard baseball or basketball or just riding bikes around the neighborhood. But I think we've come to a place in our country where we don't connect like that anymore.
No, we don't.
And, you know, we used to go next door and borrow a cup of sugar. We used to go, you know, everybody knew everybody in the neighborhood. And you know, you kind of looked out after each other and, you know, knew what was going on in their family and if they were struggling. And that's the old joke. Yeah, what do we do? Well, we took a casserole over if something went wrong, or somebody was sick.
Yeah,
or somebody died,
that's right.
You know?
Yeah.
But we don't do that anymore.
Yeah,
you know?
we don't. You're right.
We don't know how to do that. So connection is huge, and we're kind of big on making sure that, you know, we want to connect with you by Christian radio, but we want you to connect with others in your community and in that community of faith. I think community's huge.
Yeah.
I do.
Well, talk a little bit. I mean, again, so you're obviously that you failed at not being a pastor, right? So sorry about that, but So tell us what you know about being a pastor. Where was the switch? Because you said you didn't want to do that. Where you said, "Hey, now I gotta." Where was that at?
Man, I kind of kept feeling that pull, you know. So I was doing Christian radio already. I was volunteering at my church. I was helping with the youth whenever I was asked, or maybe teaching a Wednesday night Bible study for the youth or whatever. Kept kind of feeling that pull and kind of pushing it to the back and saying, I don't want to do this. So I ended up going with a friend to a revival that we were a part of in Memphis. And while I was there, somebody kind of pulled me aside and said, hey, I really believe that there's a call of God on your life to be a pastor. And so I didn't like what I was hearing necessarily. There's the one part of you that's excited.
Not part of the plan.
And one part of you that goes, I don't know if I can do that. I feel like the guys, I have no formal training. I don't know. I don't have any formal training. So what I did at that point was start really just kind of giving myself to being mentored and really kind of just seeking the Lord and praying about it. And then, of course, started leading worship. That was kind of the first step in. Figured out, well, I can do that. I can lead worship. And then the time came to say, all right, you know what? It's time for you to step up to the plate and preach your first sermon, scared to death, knees shaking, like every other person who ever does this.
Absolutely.
You know, even if you know it's God's call, sometimes you got to do it afraid.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter. You got to do it afraid. So I did that and kind of just worked my way into occasionally sharing a sermon or being asked to teach a Bible study or something at church. And, yeah, it just kind of happened, it really just happened. And it's been good though, I mean, there have definitely been some ups and downs, but I enjoy it. I still love people. Church people take a bad rap sometimes because church people are church people, and people can split a church because you bought the wrong kind of carpet and you didn't do what I thought you should have done with the Christmas decorations, and it's too cold and the sound is too loud, and y'all don't do it like we used to do it.
Oh, yeah, right.
You don't do it like we used to do it. I don't know why we do this anymore, but so all of that just, it kind of changes. I think culture changes some, but anyway, I like church.
Yeah.
And I enjoy my kids. I have 2 grown sons. Both of them still attend church.
Yeah,
we like church.
Huge. That's huge.
We have church. We love the people. They've loved me.
Yeah.
Look, what most people don't realize is when you go to church on Sunday, your pastor doesn't have the liberty to get up and say, "Man, I'm having a terrible week, and I don't even want to be here today."
Oh yeah,
which
has got to happen too, because you're normal, you're human.
You're just
that's
as human.
the way it is.
There's a joke where a guy said, someone kept saying, "Honey, you've got to get up. We've got to go to church." And so the mom keeps saying, "Come on, baby, you got to get up. I'm always going to go to church, so you got to get up." So finally she says, "Look, you have to get up. You're the pastor."
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of how it is, sometimes, you do it. And so just think about that, your pastor, lots of pastors leave the ministry, sometimes because you navigate everything from having to be a church administrator, everything from keeping the plumbing and the lights on to somebody's got to volunteer to mow the grass. Not every church has a church administrator and 1,000 members and a budget.
Yeah.
So you got the guy he's making a big
sure.
difference. He's got 50 to 100 members, which is considered a pretty good sized church in America if you look at all the numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Not a mega church, but he's doing everything from making sure the bathrooms are clean before you get there.
Man,
preaching the sermon, the whole thing.
I do. I talk about the same stuff here because I remember those days when I was everything. I was the janitor, and that's right, I was the groundskeeper. I got all the coffee. I'd made all the faxes. I did all the faxes. So literally, and that's what I tell my staff too, is all the time. Is I'm like, listen, I'm not going to ask you anything to do anything that I haven't or would not still do. Right. If you need a cup of coffee, I said that to one of my paralegals the other day. You want a cup of coffee? Listen, I'll go get it for you. Yeah. That's no problem. So, I mean, I think that does help you from the ground up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I appreciate it too, because I mean, I of course, your church will always hold a very special place in my heart because you dedicated my sweet Paige. Mm-hmm. And that was just a special experience too. And then to your credit, like, y'all were getting after it, and I loved it, man. I was like, okay, this is super cool, man. It was great. Yeah, it's kicking. It was good worship, and I'm for it. We also, interesting little quick side note, but baby Tiago, who is their parents, Edgar and Myra, are good friends of ours, and so we went to a Spanish-speaking church here, right, very close to Oak Hill Cemetery, here in Cartersville, which was very cool because Alexis and I, they did the whole thing in Spanish, which was kind of fun to flex your that muscle a little bit and just listen and understand. And hearing the gospel in Spanish and being able to actually understand that was a really cool experience. But but same thing. You want to talk about, man? I'm talking about 45 solid minutes.
They're just
solid minutes.
Yeah.
Gracias, Jesus. Gracias, Jesus.
I mean, just got cultures.
It was incredible. I mean, this guy, I was just like, yes, Lord, yes. I mean, it was intense.
No doubt.
But just the praise, it was so cool. But I think that's, same with yours.
Praise and worship and lively. Look, the first time I took a mission trip to Africa, we were in Ghana, and the pastor was going to pick us up for the service that night. And there's 3 or 4 of us that had went, and I can't remember who the preacher was going to be that night or whatever. The pastor comes, picks us up at the hotel. He's an hour late. Church has already started. So we've got more than a 30-minute ride just to get to church through traffic. And I can remember telling the host, I said, nobody's going to be there. And he started laughing. He said, where are they going to go? Home to watch TV? They don't have one. And he said, I promise you, when we get there, they're going to be worshiping. They're going to, man, the music's going to be, you're going to see. We get there, hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes later. Church has already been going, hour and 45 minutes. They are wide open. I mean, the women are dancing.
Oh, I love it.
The music is
That's
going.
awesome.
They are having a blast. They're having way more fun with nothing than what we had with a lot.
Yeah, isn't that
and
crazy?
I'm like, man, they're having a blast. This is like,
perspective, yeah.
it was on a Thursday or Friday night, and they were, I mean, it was, people were coming from the community just to watch them do their thing. Even the unsaved, like you could see the people creeping up in the back because it's open
trying to
air.
see what's going on.
And they're just kind of see what's going on in there, man. These people are having fun. They're enjoying their
that's
service.
awesome.
So, you know, hey, that ain't our culture necessarily.
Right.
But it wouldn't hurt me. It
No.
wouldn't bother me, man. We like it a little more lively. We like some energy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Injured, call Pritchard Injury Firm.
Yeah, I did, and dude, y'all were great.
Thank you.
That's super cool. And you just mentioned, of course, your two boys, and they're still in church. So, of course, you've raised incredible kids. They're both amazing. So, Christian and Benjamin, yeah. But so, Christian, let's start a little bit about him because I still think that's the most fascinating thing ever. I mean, he's this little. They're both the little kids, you know, because they're my sister's age and all this whole night growing up, and he gets this wild hair. He's just now going to go be an actor.
Right.
Goes to NYU.
Yep.
And now is an actor. I've
Yeah.
seen him and stuff.
Yeah,
This
he
is crazy.
Yeah, just talked with him yesterday. He texted his mom and said that there's a new movie coming out. He was having a director session today to see if they're going to give him the job to be in the next Jessica Chastain movie. It's going to be, I think it's called Heartland. Anyway,
Crazy.
yeah, he wrestled. He did cross country.
Oh,
and
yeah.
then he
Yep.
found like drama in high school.
Yeah.
He said, you know what, Dad, I think I'm going to go out for the next whatever they do, whatever the next play or drama is they did. I said, okay, cool. He said, I don't think I want to wrestle my senior year or my junior year. I think I'm going to. He said, I'm going to stop wrestling. So he goes out, loves it, gets a taste of being on stage and acting and whatever. He goes to Kennesaw his first year, and he goes to an intensive in New York City between his freshman and sophomore years in college. And when he gets there, that he spends like, I don't know, a couple of weeks there for some intensive that they're doing. And he calls me and he says, and we had already been praying about it. I said, if you could go anywhere, where would you go? He said, man, if I could go anywhere, if God could give me a miracle, I would go to NYU and I would go to their program. And I said, okay, praise God. Well, we can pray about that. He gets there. Registration is already closed. The guy who runs the program, his name is Michael Richardoni. We're still friends with Michael. He's over Steinhardt. He's the one that put the program together. So he said, the guy that's the professor says I should come here. And I said, have you told the guy that's the professor that that's $250,000 over the next 3 years? And that's before, and that's before you live in Manhattan. And so he said, no. I said, you think he could call me? So anyway, God works it out. Registration's already closed. Guy that's over the program puts his neck on the line for him, and he spends 3 years there. So he's still doing that. He's a trainer. That's how he makes his money.
Yeah.
Day to day, he makes his money being a personal trainer, and he auditions for something.
Love that.
Right now, I think he's still in the running for The Great Gatsby on Broadway.
Oh,
so he's doing all kinds,
huge, man.
know. And then Benjamin is living in Knoxville. He's a fourth-year med student. He's actually doing a rotation at Erlanger this month.
Oh, yeah.
He wants to go into neurology.
Good one. Good
he
field.
wants to go into
Good
neurology.
field.
So he's pretty excited about that. He and his wife go to a great church called
Good.
City Hills in Knoxville. They're Bulldog fans through and through, but they have fell in love with a bunch of volunteers up there.
Oh,
and
sure.
There's good people, man.
Yeah. Knoxville's
But
great.
It's a great city.
I'm the same thing. We've got, of course, the Chattanooga office, right? So, of course, we're surrounded up there. But I went to Knoxville actually to get sworn in for my Tennessee bar license. And I went in there. This place is beautiful. This is great.
Their downtown area is
It's
beautiful.
fantastic.
Yeah, if you've never been, man, take a weekend, go to Knoxville. You'll love it. There's
Yeah.
great restaurants and places to
Yep.
go and shops and stores. It's an amazing place. So I know why Tennessee people love it, but there's a medical school up there, Lincoln Memorial University.
Yep.
It's a doctor of osteopathic medicine.
Yep.
And he's finishing up there, and yeah,
Good for
he's.
him.
I think he's
So
going to match into neurology. That's our goal. That's our prayer.
Good. I was
He'll
going to
match
ask. I
into-
didn't know if he had already chosen his path.
No,
yet,
he
but
wants to
that's
match
amazing.
in. That'll be this coming spring.
That's wild.
Yeah. So absolutely,
man.
that's what he's doing. He's at Erlanger this month, and he'll be somewhere else in Houston. And I think he's going to a hospital in Houston in November. And so this is that time where you
Yeah.
go through the rotations. But yeah. He's still the creative director for a church of over 1,000 people in Knoxville. So City Hills
kidding.
Church, he's their creative director in medical school. So he still does
Wow.
still does my website
He's a
for me.
worker. Good
Still
Lord.
does my social media for me at the church.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's dude.
Well, I mean, he's fantastic. No doubt. I mean, he's had a great personality. So when he decided he was going to go to med school, I was like, oh, well, circle gets the square. You know what I mean? There you go.
That's it.
We knew he was going
Yes,
to
sir.
do
And they
something
still
like
love
that.
church. And that's the one thing I'm proud of is that church has its ups and downs, and you hear people talk about like preachers' kids and all that, and I never wanted that for them. Like I there's just some things we didn't talk about in the car on the way home if it wasn't good.
Sure.
That was a private conversation.
Sure.
Because grown people do grown things, and all of us have made horrible decisions before. So we let them kind of as they got older, they got to know more. But when they
Yeah.
were young, we didn't ruin it for them. Like, look,
Yeah.
people will be people. It doesn't matter if you're a lawyer or a preacher or in med school.
Yeah.
People are going to be people.
People are gonna be people,
And
sure.
I was
Yeah.
like, I still want them to enjoy church. And so back to Christian, he goes to the church that Tim Keller was the pastor of for so many years. Tim passed away a few years ago. He's an incredible preacher and speaker at Presbyterian Church. And he loves going there. He loves attending there. It's on West 83rd Street in Manhattan. So, it's just off of Broadway and
man.
West 83rd Street.
Wow.
It's called Redeemer Presbyterian Church, and he loves it. So he
that's
loves it. So it's it's good. We like it. I've attended there a few times when I've been there with him, and really, really liked it. So it's different Presbyterian, but I loved it. It was great. So. Yeah, my wife's a retired educator.
Yeah,
a little
right.
bit about her. She's a retired educator,
Yeah.
and we just now partnered. My church just partnered with a Christian school that had 105 students and nowhere to have school this year. So 6 months ago, we started working. We had a school at one time, so we had the space, we had the facilities, and we just started working with them about 6 months ago because they said we've outgrown the space we are at the church we're at. We need another space. We have to have a place to go. Would you consider? And man, we entered into a partnership with them, Covenant Christian School in Cedartown.
Oh,
and
great,
they're
yeah.
up and functioning, and
Great.
like 105 kids. And so we've got on our campus, and Monday through Friday now, we have 105 kids every day. How beautiful is that? Like,
That's
we
great.
needed that. That brought life to us.
Dude, what's going on with Cedartown growing?
Dude.
Oh my gosh.
Rockmart, Cedartown,
Yeah.
Polk County is growing.
Well, watch out.
People are coming out.
Crazy.
I
So
think they're
fast.
coming from the Atlanta area.
Oh,
I'm guessing here,
Yeah.
or maybe moving out of more crowded areas and saying, "Hey," but they're kind of gravitating toward that Rockmart, Cedartown.
Yeah.
It's beautiful place to live. I mean, hey, but
Well,
yeah.
one of our lawyers here, Adam, he's from Cedartown and or from Rockmart, and he moved to Cedartown. He was working there, and I ask him all the time, like, "You gonna move to Cartersville?" And he's like, "I think I'm okay." He's like, honestly, he's like, "I really like it out there." And he said, "I enjoy the drive. It's
Yep.
great. It's easy." And buddy of mine also, Brian Villarreal, he used to do that all the time. Now his firm opened up a location here, which is good. But he lived here and would commute every single day. And he said, honestly, it just gives me a beautiful little drive in, beautiful little drive out. I get some
That's it.
time, some peace. And I said, "Hey man, I get it."
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
But now it's
good.
like I said, it's expanding so fast. It's
yeah,
crazy.
Yeah, a lot of people are moving into the
Gosh.
area, no doubt. So, And man, Rockmart's kind of blown up.
Oh, man.
It's like, hey, they're getting good restaurants and everything.
It's got
over there.
everything. It really does. We dropped AC off right down that little skating rink, and she had a good time. It was one of her buddy's birthdays, and we went back to Rockmart, and they had everything. They got the Home Depot there. They got all this jazz. That I was like, where'd all this come from?
Yeah,
Like,
we grew up. That was country.
Yeah,
I mean,
there was
you
nothing.
living in Rockmart, Georgia. You was living in the country.
That's exactly right.
Cedartown
Jeez.
too. There was cattle farmers and chicken farmers and country people, and now, man, people are just piling in. So I just think it's probably people looking for a little bit of country close enough to the city.
Yeah.
Same way it was in some of the areas around here in the outlying areas. Cass, Daresville, on up to Calhoun.
Yeah.
Now people are just piling in. I think they're trying to get out of the city. That's what I
That's
guess.
it,
I'm
yeah.
guessing. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think they're trying to get out of the city and still raise their kids in a little bit of space. Where
I think
maybe
you're
it's
right.
not quite as busy as like a Kennesaw or an Ackworth.
I know. Well, it makes me very nervous for this place because I remember 20 years, 30 years ago, Kennesaw, and it looked a lot like this.
Yeah,
And then
years
now,
like that.
you can't even breathe going down Barrett Parkway. It's crazy.
Nope.
But yeah, so hopefully they'll do good as it expands. That's what I was talking. I was talking not too long ago, and on this podcast, obviously with Craig Guyton, and asking them how do you plan for expansion and all these kinds of things. So they're trying to do the same thing out into Hugh Harley, right? I mean, but all of Bartow County, and Polk County, surrounding areas really expanding.
Yeah, thousands
crazy.
of homes being built.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
And people are loving coming this way. Had a lady at a doctor's office in Woodstock a few years back, and she said, "Man, we're looking for land up near Adairsville because we want to get out of the city.
Yeah,
we want to raise
yeah.
our kids somewhere other than here." And we kind of went up there and looked around. We love it. Well, obviously, I've been living up there forever now, and traffic's changed, the city's changed, but. Yeah, I think it's just where we are right now in the growth of our county and the surrounding counties. It's booming, bro.
Yeah.
It's booming. There's no doubt. And we're seeing more and more people listening in, I mean, on a weekly basis. And let me just be frank, too. One of the big stations out of Atlanta sold. It was the Fish.
Oh, the Fish, yeah.
And when the Fish sold,
Yeah.
it really was a blessing to us because people started finding us again.
Yeah.
So that they're excellent. I have nothing bad to say
Oh,
about
yeah,
the Fish
they're
or
great.
or
Yeah,
K-Love or any of those
Oh,
guys.
yeah, K-Love, yeah.
Like everybody
Yep.
that I've worked with from those organizations through the years, quality people.
Yeah.
Good people. And but when the Fish went away, I think some people found us again, and we've noticed that over the last year.
Sure.
Is that we've gained some listeners. I think people coming to the area, finding out that we're here.
Yeah.
And so matter of fact, I saw your pastor this week. We had an honor lunch where it was just a pastor's honor event, just to say, man, keep doing what you're doing. We love you.
yeah.
We're praying for you. We appreciate you.
Yeah.
And Pastor Kyle was
Yeah, he's
there,
awesome, man.
and a bunch of other pastors.
Good
So
guy.
we're going to keep this something we're going to keep doing because we think it's important, to encourage spiritual leaders in our community. Just one of the things we try to do to reach out and encourage.
That's
people.
right. So what do you, I mean, obviously you are very, very busy. I think before this started, you said you're on the radio 4 hours a day.
Yeah.
Heavens to Betsy. In your, I guess, free time, if you have free time, I don't know, what do you do?
Man, you know what? I love college football. I have my wife and my kids. I still talk to them. Even my boys are out of town, and Lori and I stay busy with something all the time. Her parents live next door, so it's family stuff. Probably what I would say what takes up more of my time than anything in the fall is probably college football. Like, I can't wait till Saturday.
Oh, I know.
I'm probably going to sit from 10 in the morning when ESPN comes on live and they start do college game day.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to start watching, and I'll watch Texas and Ohio State. I'll be flipping back and forth to see how Tennessee's doing with Syracuse.
Yep.
I'll be bouncing back and forth all day and wait till Georgia comes on. Obviously, watch that. I love it.
Yeah.
I love
Oh,
it.
yeah.
So, yeah, but, I love that. I love learning new things. Like, I'm always learning stuff. I'm a lifetime learner. So it doesn't
That's so
matter
good
if
for you.
it's
Yeah.
for anybody,
Yeah.
like, it's helped me both in scripture, in life, listening to audiobooks. I'm a huge, like if I go to the gym or whatever, I'll listen to an audiobook.
Okay.
So I'm a big fan of good solid audiobooks that you can learn from, other preachers, people like Dr. Henry Cloud and Tim Keller, other preachers. So I'll listen to podcasts because I have to feed me at some point.
Absolutely.
So if you're feeding others, you got to feed you.
For sure.
You got to have something you can draw from.
That's right.
To keep yourself encouraged.
Yeah.
But I do that. I do go to the gym. And try to do something to exercise.
Yeah.
Maybe not every day, but 4 or 5 days a week.
Oh, wow.
And
That's good.
try to get to the gym and at least keep the old heart pumping. And then college football, and then time we keep the yard and work around the house and do stuff at church. Church has stuff going all the time.
I bet.
You know,
I bet.
has something all the time. So there's a Saturday men's meeting, and a next Saturday it's the women's meeting, and then it's the whatever your thing is. So it can be a lot. You have something kind of going all the time, and then oh my gosh, we got a funeral this Saturday, and then next Saturday, hey, praise God, I got a Saturday off.
Oh yeah.
I got a Saturday off, but Sunday's coming.
Yeah.
So you
gotta
kind
be
of
ready.
Yeah, that's my fun stuff to do. I think if I could, man, I would love to go out to Phoenix there and learn how to fly an airplane. That'd be so
fun.
huge for me.
Yeah.
I could. I just hadn't worked up the guts to do it yet.
Oh, you should. So I don't know if you do this, or maybe I didn't share this with you, but I did that for a little bit. And I've got about how many hours? Not even that many, like maybe 30 hours. But the problem is because with the expansion of the firm, I had to kind of put that on hold. So we just got to where I was doing touch and goes, right? So that's kind of like what you do right before you solo, right? Is you do your pattern work, touch and goes, touch and goes, touch and goes, and we had hit that. My flight instructor, because this is what happens a lot, is they're getting hours by instructing because they can go work for the airlines, right? You just got to have hours.
Right.
And so we got there. He got on with a smaller airline, a Piedmont airline. But he's like, listen, I'll help you get past that. And it was actually just a time of crazy growth for us. So I had to be here kind of all hands on deck. I will tell you, my advice is fly, fly, fly. When you start, keep flying.
Really?
So fly at least
Okay.
2 times a week.
Okay.
Right? So a lot of it, there's pre-flight, all that good stuff. So you got to go check the plane out, check the fuel, check all those things, make sure everything's good to go, notate with maintenance if there's a problem. There normally isn't, but because they keep those, especially out there, those Cessnas, they keep those like dialed in. But keep doing it because you'll lose that muscle memory. You know? So and that's what happens. And even if you do fly after that, make sure you're doing it kind of regularly because you get up there and they do have now they have planes if you've ever written one or you want to get one. They have them now that basically fly themselves.
Yep.
I mean, but if you ever get in that, I love my flight instructor. He told me one time he was talking about the Cirrus, which is a great plane, of course, and he said, "Hey, I call those lawyer killers." And I was like, "Well, thanks a lot.
Yeah,
thanks a lot for saying that." And I said, "Why is that?" He said, "Well, because they get up there and they press the autopilot. They get into a situation where they have to manual or hand fly it, right? And they don't have the skills because they've been so complacent." So I could not, if you can't tell from my enthusiasm, recommend it enough. It was great.
Yeah.
They have awesome instructors. Do it once, twice a week, and before you know it, you'll be off to the races.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's kind of one of those bucket list things. Like, man, I'd love to do that. I'm probably, I don't know, 10 minutes away or less from the Calhoun Airport.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, from where my house is. So
Yep.
it would be good. But anyway, love to travel, man. I still like to go and do. We went to San Diego. Benjamin was at a neurology conference out there, so me and Lori went to San Diego for the first time. Loved it.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, I loved it. San Diego's,
That's really cool.
It's so good. So I love to travel too, whenever we can.
Where's your favorite place you've ever been to?
Favorite place I've ever been? Probably to St. Thomas. I thought St. Thomas was the most beautiful island. I mean, and I love the Caribbean and I love the beaches and whatnot. Man, the first time, this was probably 25 years ago, we went to St. Thomas. I was like, oh, this is God's place right here, man. This is like, it was amazing. And we loved you get out there in middle of, I don't think we went into July or whatever, which is not their peak time. And I can remember going out on the beach and looking both ways. There's more than a mile of beach and It's 2 people out there other than us. And I'm like,
That's nice.
this is heaven right here.
That's
man.
right.
That water's
That's it.
blue.
Yeah.
These beaches are beautiful. It was great. So we love that. I've been to Africa a few times. Really thought if you've never been on an African safari, it's really, I mean, I can remember walking outside, staying at a place called Amboseli, and I remember walking outside and I could see Kilimanjaro and the snow caps in the distance.
Oh, nice.
And I could look out the back window of my room and I could see the giraffe and the elephants walking in the distance. Yeah. So
No,
we
that's
walk
cool.
outside and the monkeys would be all in the trees and they would be, it was incredible. It was it's a place called Amboseli, and it's not very far from Kilimanjaro, which means we went right to the Tanzanian border.
Yeah.
And it was great. It was one of those things that I'd love to take my family to go do. It was incredible. If you ever get to do it, yeah, it's worth it to see those animals in the wild and whatnot. It's probably the most incredible thing I've ever done as
Yeah.
far as travel, that type of stuff. So, yeah. I like
Wow,
it. I
that's
like
cool.
it.
I've never been to Africa, but Alexis, my wife, of course, has been after me to do that for a long time, and we would love to. If the girls would tolerate the plane flight, we'd love to do that.
Yeah. It's so worth it. It's so worth it. So but I would highly recommend it. But you could do the same in South Africa. There's several places that you could go, but I just happened we did a ministry thing in Nairobi. And so what we did is we'd already been gone. We went to Ghana, flew across to Kenya, and then stayed another, 10 days there or whatever. So we took a couple days, and they rode us out to a place called Amboseli, which is a tourist thing. And we spent a couple days out there. Incredible. It was unbelievable.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, unbelievable.
So cool.
Yeah, really cool stuff.
Life changing, man. I'm sure.
Life-changing, yep.
Neil, you have a ton of different roles in your life. So how do you prioritize those so that none of them get left out?
In honesty, sometimes there isn't a lot left. For us guys, I only have so many words a day. And once those are gone,
Oh man, you must be talking to Alexis.
Yeah,
because she'll say
once-
that all the time. I got a word max.
that's exactly right. Once they're gone. So I guess because of my calling, I have a high word tolerance. Like I can go on and talk. But there just comes a time where I feel like I'm bankrupt. Like there's nothing left in the tank. So that's okay because Lori's not a big talker anyway. But there's times, in honesty, there's times that if it's not my kids or something I know is urgent, I don't answer the phone.
Yeah.
I can't. And look,
I hear
if
you.
you hear that,
Yeah.
it has nothing to do with the love or whatever. It's just that there's nothing left in
Right,
here.
I'm tapped out.
I'm tapped out, yeah. So once you talk all day, you just go, you know what? It's like getting on an airplane when they say, if something happens, put your oxygen on first. It's because if I don't put my oxygen on first, I cannot help you.
That's right.
If I'm not breathing, I can't do anything to help you.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it is in life. If you can learn to make sure, and I know, the women or whatever, the therapist would call it self-care. Like you got to take care of you, man.
Yeah.
You got to say, you know what? I've hit my spiritual, emotional, faith, word limit. I've got to take a day and I got to recharge.
Yeah.
And I have to do that. Like sometimes on Saturday, it's just a recharge day. If I finally go, it's a Saturday off. Okay, Lori's going to be kind. She's not going to say, you have to go out there and take care of that flower bed. She's not going to do me that way. She's going to just let me just sit here and recharge. And if football's your thing or you're just relaxing, she's going to be cool with that. So you do have to take care of you if you're going to take care of others.
That's right.
To be your best self, you have to.
I certainly have I struggled with that for a while until I figured it out. I mean, like this, I'll be straight this week, one morning, because, listen, I have staff who will write in and say, hey, I've got to take a kind of an emergency half-day PTO or a me day or whatever, and that'll happen. And I thought, hey, man, you got to take one for yourself.
Yes.
And Alexis was like, well, how was your day this morning? I was like, Zach took a half day.
Yep.
He put mark it down on the PTO because it just never stops, right?
Right.
So, I mean, like the idea of a 40-hour work week is hilarious, right?
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so it just, but you're right. I can't be my best self. And when I came in for the afternoon, man, I was ticking. I was ready to go.
Ready to go.
Because
Recharge.
I just took just some peace for half the day to go, okay, I've got to get ready and settled. And today was not, but I wasn't feeling well. And I was like, okay, you've just slow down,
Right.
Just take the morning. It's fine. But you're right, especially in those kind of roles. When you're in those leadership roles, doing those things, man, like I said, you cannot be your best self, for other people if you're not doing it for yourself.
No,
So that's great.
absolutely. And I think the key word there is learning the leadership role, is that understanding, we want to set a good example as a leader, but we also want to say, man, I can't do everything for them. I have to empower them to do, so understanding that and going, man, if I'm going to lead well, I have to take a minute here. I mean, there's a reason that God built a Sabbath day into the system.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Just from a preacher standpoint, you said
don't work.
Don't work. There needs to be a day that you just do you stuff, whatever you like, whatever. If I get up in the morning and I take a walk and read my Bible or do whatever, and then the rest of Saturday's just, hey, whatever we can find to do, or we're going to ride and go do something we've been meaning to do. Yeah, you got to have some me time. And that sounds, here's what happens. People will hear that and say, well, I just can't be selfish with my family. I promise you, what you don't want to do is snap when you ought to be the rock, when because you're overly worked and overly stressed, and you have to kind of take a step back, and I think that's good leadership. That's as Christian says, that's being self-aware, Dad. That's being self-aware.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, he's right. Yeah, and the second thing that my oldest son taught me is no is a complete sentence. It's a complete sentence.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm not going to do that. I can't do that.
No.
And and if you don't make your schedule, somebody will make it for you. I can guarantee
that's
you
100% right.
if you don't make
that's true.
somebody will find you something to do.
Lord help us
Every
all.
man with a wife knows that if you don't have something to do, your wife will find you something to do.
That's so
if you're
true.
looking for something.
Right.
So but I try to rest where I can. Not going to say that sometimes they don't get whatever's left.
Yeah.
But my kids are grown. It's Lori and I.
Yeah.
We help take care of our parents and whatnot and do for them. But we don't. We try to be smart. I'm 59 now. I don't have the same stamina that I had a number of years ago.
Sure.
Used to I could do 18 hours and days on end.
Yeah.
I can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I
Nor
just
do you
can't.
want to.
No, not only do I don't want to.
to,
Yeah, that's it. I don't want to.
Yeah.
So
Neil, what advice would you give to dads who are trying to figure out the juggle of job, family, faith, all the things?
Well, I always think I'm my best self when I am spending that time in my devotion alone, taking a minute with the Lord. It doesn't have to be an hour. Who wouldn't? Every pastor would tell you, spend an hour a day. Look, 10 minutes of a devotion in the morning, that's going to help you be your best self. Secondly, you also have to remember your kids don't have anything to compare you to, so it's not like picking out a TV where you got 4 on the wall. Your kids aren't comparing you to anybody. So, you just give them the best part of you.
Yeah.
And remember, they're not saying, well, you're not better than Tyler's dad. He does this and this and this.
Yeah.
Most of the times, you're just, there's not a comparison role there. So do what you can. And I know in the world they would say it, if maybe I could say it this way and people would understand this better, center you. Well, my center for me is making sure that I have a little bit of devotion time in the morning or in the afternoon, that I am taking time to have a scripture reading, and even if it's just a few minutes of prayer, or to just meditate on things that I need to talk to the Lord about on my way to work. So that helps me be, as the world would say, centered. Okay. But other than that, I just realized my kids weren't comparing me. I mean, I was trying to do it all. I was coaching baseball and soccer and doing all this.
Oh, yeah.
But they also weren't trying to compare. My kids, your kids, are not saying, I can't imagine Paige saying, well, you know what, Dad, I looked over and so-and-so's dad was doing Nah, she's not thinking that way.
Lord, I hope
she's
not.
not, So, that's probably some of the best advice is you can't teach your kids who you are until you know who you are, until you're rooted and grounded. And of course, I find that in my faith. So till you're rooted and grounded, and once you know who you are, you're good to go.
Yeah.
You two thumbs up at that point.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Yeah. So yeah.
So we like to do something at the end of every episode, just rapid fire, which
Okay.
our company kind of cut it down for a short. So I'm just going to ask you questions as quickly as you can, just answer them.
All right.
All right, what is your favorite breakfast meal?
Bacon and eggs.
Best family vacation spot?
Anywhere on the beach.
A chore that you try to avoid?
Mowing grass.
The first app that you check on your phone in the morning?
Email.
Favorite Bible verse?
That changes about every week.
Yeah.
Romans 8:28. He works all things together for the good.
Love that. If you weren't doing radio, what would your job be?
Something in entertainment. Something in entertainment.
Favorite African animal?
Lion.
What is the most underrated spot in Cartersville?
Oh man, most underrated spot to me, probably Cody J's. Probably Cody J's. I love it.
I was gonna say Ming Moon.
Yeah.
Ming Moon's underrated, baby. I love it. Me and Paige, shout out to Paige.
You really just outed yourself.
I know. Well, you said underrated. I was like, nobody's gonna say Ming Moon.
I have never heard that from you. That is,
I know.
That's amazing.
That's me and Paige's spot right
Well, we
there.
used to go all the time. I haven't been in a long time, but we
Cody
used to
J's
go all
good.
the time.
Cody J's is good, though.
Cody J's is good.
It
Yeah.
is. It
Best
is.
hamburger in town. Their cheeseburger's amazing.
I never had it.
Ross's is good too, though.
Yes.
Whoa, watch out now.
But the cheeseburger
Love
at Cody J's, he's taking that new dude's taking it to the next level, man. Joseph has bumped it up. Yeah, he's taking it
good
to
for
a whole
him.
nother level.
I'll have to go check that out.
Yes.
All right,
Neil,
Zach.
love you, man. You know that. Thank you so much for coming and spending some words of wisdom, some time with us. It really means a whole lot. And it's kind of cool to get your perspective. Obviously, like I said, I've known you forever, but getting to see these little pieces of your life and your success is just awesome. So thank you, man. Thank
You're
you
very
so
kind.
much.
Love your family, man. Your family's meant so much to us through the years. So, yeah, thank you so much for the opportunity. So proud for you and your family, and God's doing good things for you, and we're blessed. We're blessed to see that.
Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate it.
Stay connected with the Law Dad, Zach Pritchard, across all your favorite platforms. Dive deeper into the stories, insights, and behind-the-scenes moments that make The Law Dad your go-to podcast. Follow us on Facebook for updates and community shoutouts. Catch inspiring snippets on Instagram. Connect with Zach on LinkedIn for professional insights. And don't miss our exclusive content on YouTube. Find our social media links in the description of today's show. Follow us now on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
This show is for informational purposes only. It does not constitute tax, investment, or legal advice. Please consult with a qualified professional before taking any action.